I think that most people are dramatically underestimating what's about to happen to small and mid-sized businesses. Not because of robots, not because AI is going to replace every human, but because the definition of a company is changing. 5 years ago, if you wanted to build a serious business, you needed people. You needed salespeople, administrators, project coordinators, schedulers, customer support, marketing staff, managers, and directors. Today, one person can do the work of 3 or 4 people. And by 2030, I believe a 10-person company is probably going to be able to compete with companies that have 50, 100, or even 200 employees today. Not because those 10 people are going to be working harder, but because they'll be operating with an entirely different set of tools. And as someone building a business right now, I think we're already seeing the beginning of it. I'm not talking about some futuristic science fiction version of AI. I'm talking about what's happening right now. Every month, I see new tools that can answer customer inquiries, schedule meetings, generate proposals, create marketing content, manage projects, analyze data, write software, and automate administrative work. Most businesses are still treating these tools like productivity boosts, and I think that's the wrong way to look at them. Because what we're really witnessing is the beginning of operational leverage at a scale we've never had access to before, and that changes everything. Let's start out with the obvious, right? The easiest prediction. Every company in 2030 will dramatically need fewer administrative employees. Now, before everyone gets angry and freaks out in the comments, just hear me out. Every business is still going to need people. They just won't need the endless manual work that we're doing right now. Think about how much time businesses are wasting today, scheduling appointments and following up with customers and updating CRMs, preparing documents, sending reminders, entering data, data entry in general, moving information from one system to another. Most of these activities don't generate any value or sales, but they're necessary, right? Like, we need this information. They're just not creating value. And that's exactly the kind of work AI excels at. I recently looked at one workflow that required 3 different people touching the same customer information before it was finally entered correctly into the system. 3 people. That isn't a people problem, that's a workflow problem, and AI is exposing these problems everywhere. By 2030, I believe many companies will have digital workers handling huge portions of administrative operations, not replacing humans entirely, but removing the repetitive work that humans never wanted to do in the first place. Here's where things get really interesting. Most people assume AI replaces workers, right? People. They think, in most cases, that's what's going to end up happening. I think, in many cases, it amplifies them. Imagine a project manager today. They spend a huge amount of time writing updates, organizing meetings, tracking actions, meeting notes, creating reports, following up with stakeholders. Now imagine AI just assisting them, handling 80% of that work. That now one project manager suddenly has the time to actually manage the projects more effectively. The same thing applies to salespeople, engineers, marketers, business owners, customer success teams. Everybody becomes more productive. Not by 10% or 20%, and these are massive numbers. In some cases, we're already seeing people become 2, 3, even 5 times more effective. The companies that win won't necessarily hire the most people. They'll build systems that allow small teams to operate like much larger organizations. And that's a very different way of thinking about growth, right? I think the org charts in the future are going to look completely different. Today, you might have a manager or a director, and then a manager below, assistant manager, coordinators, administrators, support staff, specialists. Like, think of the layers on top of layers of people. In 2030, I think you'll see a much flatter organization. Fewer management layers, smaller teams, faster decision making, and a lot more technology sitting between people and routine work. The most valuable employees won't be the people who can follow a process. They'll be the people who can improve the process. The people who understand the operations, the people who can identify those inefficiencies and use those tools to make them better, the people who can leverage technology to solve actual business problems. That's a very different skill set than what many organizations hire for today. So what do I think a 10-person company looks like in 2030? Probably something like this. You're going to see a business owner, you're going to see salespeople, a marketing and BD team, project managers, and a few technical experts, maybe a customer success person, some type of another BD layer, and surrounding all of them are dozens of automated systems. AI handling scheduling, generating the first drafts, updating systems, monitoring operations, analyzing business performance, assisting customer interactions like phone calls, customer support. Every person is operating at a level that would have seemed impossible a decade earlier. The company doesn't feel small, it feels incredibly efficient. That's going to be the difference. So what am I saying? Does that mean that every company is going to continue to shrink to 10 employees? Of course not. Some businesses will always need to have larger teams. Manufacturing, healthcare, construction, many service industries. But I believe the companies that will thrive over the next decade will think entirely different about headcount. Instead of asking, who should we hire next? They're going to be asking, what processes can we improve next? What systems can we automate next? What friction can we remove next? Because the future isn't about replacing people. The future is about removing the work that prevents people from doing their best work, the work they were hired for, the work that gets results, right? And the businesses that figure that out first are the ones that are going to have an enormous advantage in the future. The companies of 2030 won't necessarily be bigger. They'll be faster. They'll be more efficient. They'll be more scalable. And surprisingly, they might have fewer people than anyone expected.